Catherine, would you be kind enough to take notes, please?
Sure. Like, give me 1 second though.
Absolutely. Thank you, Bill. I forgot the Brenda won't be in until a little bit later.
Can the recording be sent to Brenda to double check my notes in case I miss anything?
Absolutely.
All right. I'm ready whenever.
Thank you very much, Catherine. First, there are 2 items on the agenda. We'll start with the first one, which is an OML complaint dated December 30th, 2020 by Ms. Dale Goldstein. Her complaint is that there wasn't enough identifying information on an agenda regarding an OML complaint of Ms. Parthasarathy. And I've spoken to an attorney regarding this, and the attorney told me that the complaint itself is a public record. And having that on the agenda with the person who made the complaint is definitely enough satisfactory information. Anybody who wanted to get more information now knows that it's available to any interested party at the city clerk's office. And so this attorney said that she did not feel that this constituted an open meeting law complaint. That was her opinion. Are there any questions?
Was that attorney with the Attorney General's office?
No, it was not.
What attorney was that?
That's an attorney that I spoke to, that the trustees are going to retain to represent the corporation of the library.
And was that voted on?
We had a quorum. A vote was taken. We had a quorum.
I didn't hear what you said. I'm sorry.
I said it was voted on and we had a quorum.
And when was the meeting?
I don't have that off the top of my head, Joanne, but you'll receive the minutes. I'll get them to you.
All right, because I'm finding that I'm not invited to a lot of the meetings.
Well, a lot of times you and Richard are busy. You have other commitments like rallies and so forth for the union.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's not true.
I believe it is true.
Yeah.
I have photographs of you at
Chairman, if I could ask.
Except
the open meeting law requires, what's the language of the open meeting law relative to the agenda? Doesn't it stipulate that something about the general topics to be discussed?
You're very correct, Bill. Yes.
Nothing specific, just general topics that could be anticipated to be discussed. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
except I have the right to ask a question as to why I wasn't invited to this meeting.
You weren't available, Joanne.
How would you know if I'm available?
I guarantee you I knew.
Really? Seeing I'm sitting here with hospice, you wouldn't know where I was?
Joanne, you weren't available.
Wow.
And what was the date of that meeting?
I told you I don't have it off the top of my head. I will get you that information later. We're going to move on to the second complaint. This complaint is dated December 29th, filed by Ms. Parthasarathy, and she is saying that the trustees committed an OML violation on several occasions. But again, we now have a private attorney working for the library, and these are her feelings on Ms. Parthasarathy's OML complaint as of 12/29/20. On the 9:30 thread of emails, she found 4 trustees were emailed. No quorum of 5 there were no quorum of 5 trustees, and the emails do not meet the requirements of deliberation. No trustee expressed an opinion, not an OML violation. October 5th email, only I was involved. 5 are needed for a quorum, no deliberation. October 6th email, again, only I emailed something. 5 needed for a quorum, no deliberation of document sent, and no opinion of document given. On October 2nd, there was a special meeting called. And hold on 1 minute, please. So this is kind of a different situation because this October meeting of the corporation was held during an intermission of another meeting, which was the external communications meeting of the director. And at this meeting, 5 trustees of the corporation were present, as well as the admin of the library. So we voted, we met with somebody that we felt, okay, I got to read my notes here. We reserve our rights to consider whether we are a public body subject to OML, but in good faith effort to respond, we should discuss providing information such as minutes of the meeting, which will be distributed once the attorney has authorized that they can be released to the remaining of the trustees, but not until legal counsel says it's the right thing to do. So Richard, you'll have to wait.
Do you mean are you referring to the trustees or do you mean the members of the corporation?
I'm saying the members of the corporation, Bill, but not
Okay, so
the
there's a difference between the corporation, directors on the corporation as opposed to trustees of the library. And I think it's clear, it needs to be clarified that the two are separate entities. So I think any comments about them should be clear relative to whether they're directors of the corporation or the trustees of the library.
That's correct. And that's what the attorneys are working on. They need time to review everything that I have sent them. They can't do it in a day or two. They need time. But they said in good faith, we'll respond to these. So we felt when we held that meeting, we felt we were a separate entity and we did have a quorum. And we did hold a meeting and we did take a vote to spend
as a corporation.
We took a vote of the corporation and the minutes were written as minutes of the corporation, not the trustees.
What was the result of this meeting?
I just told you that we retained this person for $5,000.
This is a public relation person.
That's right. For 3
Okay.
months, we hired that person.
Okay. So one question I have is where did the $5,000 come from?
From the trust funds.
And it was voted by,
It was voted by the 5 trustees that were present.
Directors, 5 directors of the corporation.
Can't use that title yet until the attorneys give us permission.
well,
Waiting for their ruling.
Okay.
a decision made by those 5 people excluded the other, apparently excluded Joanne and myself.
That's correct.
So
Correct.
decisions made by the board should be done in open meeting law open meeting law. This was not an open meeting law. It was not an open meeting.
Well, it's because it was a meeting of the corporation.
Every January, we have a meeting of the corporation. It's open and it's discussed and it's predicted, it's talked about. And that's what
And it's
triggered
all of us.
the original complaint we had back in June. That was an open meeting, the trustees, the foundation meeting in January.
In which we're looking into changing that, Richard. So the corporation meeting is because it's a private entity. It files its own tax. It hires and fires investment managers.
It was not a private meeting. It was not a private organization back in January of 20.
And it's still not a private organization then if it's not approved yet.
Well, we're not going to decide. We're not going to decide on that tonight.
I thought the meeting was to discuss Jasmine's OML complaint.
We are discussing it. What do you want to know, Richard? But Mary has the floor next. Mary.
No, I was just going to make the observation was that this is not a matter of deciding something new about the corporation. It's clarifying something that was already there. And that wasn't necessarily clear to everybody that in fact, these are 2 different entities.
Okay, next question. where did the idea of hiring a public relations person come from?
I don't think that has anything to do with the OML complaint.
No, it's a question I have.
Not on the
The
agenda.
OML complaint, the
Not on
OML complaint is on,
Richard, I can't respond to that. It's not on the agenda.
reviewing Jasmine's complaint is on the agenda.
Well, but you're asking, you can review her complaint all you want, but you can't ask me that question because it's not on the agenda.
What happened in the meeting that she's complaining about was you hired a public relations person.
Right.
Okay, you answer the question, where did the money come from? It came from the trust funds.
Yep.
I'm asking, whose idea was it to hire a public relations person?
It was the quorum that was present.
Do we have a contract that you signed, that we
we do
paid
not.
$5,000 for?
There is no contract. There is one loan invoice and that's it. And it was part of her complaint.
That $5,000 was discussed as a retainer.
Nope, there was not a retainer. It was a one-stop shop. That was it. One deal.
Joanne and I were never part of the decision to hire a public relation person.
Richard, you would have voted against it anyway. What's the sense?
We should have had that
That's
right.
a violation of open meeting law.
This isn't an open meeting. It's the corporation. And until the lawyers rule that, you're going to have to wait. There was no intentionality on the side of the quorum that was present to conceal anything. And we not concealed anything. We can't help it. You're on the side of the union. You put yourself there, not us.
So the corporation is made up of people that agree with you?
Sounds
You're
it.
on the board, Richard.
I was a member of the corporation until today. I never heard I was not thrown out of the corporation.
Oh, no, you haven't been thrown out of the corporation.
So I'm a member of the corporation.
Yes, you are.
Point of order, point of order. Can we please address the OML complaint?
Yeah,
And
let's move on.
leave it at that?
What did Jasmine complain in the open meeting law?
Let's see. She complained about everything. Complained about, as I said, that September 30 thread of emails taken together, not a deliberation, because fewer than a quorum present, an email was for scheduling only with no expression of an opinion. October 5th, not a deliberation, because fewer than a quorum present, an email was for scheduling only with no expression of an opinion. She's reading too much into emails. October 6th email, not a deliberation, because it involved the distribution of a document only with no opinion expressed by any board member.
And this comes from your attorney?
Point of order,
Richard.
point of order. We are only supposed to address the OML complaint. And if Jan, you could read the remedies, then we can move on with this.
Excuse me, Carol, but the remedy discusses a report from a lawyer, which is not complete.
That's
The remedy,
He hasn't finished it, Richard.
I understand that.
Tell you tonight.
So my question is
God.
when did we hire this attorney?
When? Oh, a while ago.
Was it last week? Was it a month ago?
Might have been.
Was it done at an open meeting?
Richard, I'd prefer to have this discussion alone with you and not at a meeting because it's not on the agenda.
Can't hear him.
Richard, you're,
Yeah, can't hear Richard.
So where we stand now is, that's about it. We just need to, I lost where I was. Here's what I need.
And we need a motion, I think, to deal with each one separately. Let me suggest
And
a
Richard,
motion.
by the way, Richard, just to answer another question, several months ago, the board approved a vote, allow us to hire an attorney up to $25,000.
When was that done?
One of the regular trustees meetings, the board voted to authorize $25,000 to retain an attorney for the trustees if necessary.
You don't remember the date?
I'm sorry, I don't, but this is January,
Was it
possibly
January?
the
Was it
November
months
meeting,
ago?
Richard. Possibly October, November meeting, I'm not sure. It's got to be before then, because it was a while ago. Bill, you made the motion, do you remember?
I don't. It was about 3 or 4 months ago. I did make a motion that we expand up to $25,000 to retain an attorney to protect the interest of the corporation and the trustees. I'm
Bill-
guessing 3 or 4 months ago.
I remember Bill saying that Ellen's been inundated with all these
Yeah.
issues
Mhm.
and she's too busy. Maybe we should hire an attorney. I remember that. I don't remember allocating 25,000 for it.
We did. We allocated 25,000. We voted on it because we were looking to protect the library over and above Ellen.
And yet the last 4 or 5 complaints, they've been shipped off to Ellen to write the answer to and reply.
Well, when we
This
got
is
to
the first I've heard of the attorney being hired.
Richard, that's because we've come up to this kind of a stone wall because now the patrons or the public that are disputing that we even belong on the board have decided they want to see everything relative to the trust funds. And that is where I draw the line because I feel we file our own tax return, we hire and fire investment managers, we have a separate annual meeting, that we are a standalone private entity and the public is not entitled to this information because these are requests that were left to the library for the benefit of the library, and people who leave money to an institution don't want their private business broadcast all over the city. That's why we hired an attorney to protect the corporation and the rights of the trusts.
So
Do you have any other questions?
so in the trust funds, did this come, what category of the trust fund? Did it come out of the Frizzell funds?
No, Richard, I'm sorry, I didn't get all your question. Would you please repeat it?
The money that was the $5,000, that come out of the Frizzell money in the trust fund?
Absolutely not. That's forbidden.
So what area did it come from?
It came from the Wind Trust, which can be used for any library purpose.
Okay.
Does anybody have any additional questions?
No.
When are we going to get the answer from this attorney as to this OML complaint?
I just gave it to you.
When the attorneys had time to do it?
Are you talking about the one we're discussing now?
Correct.
You already gave her opinion. She said that there was no intentionality on the part of the group that met on October 2nd. Their purpose was to provide protection for the corporation, to protect privacy as a private organization.
Will a copy of that report from that lawyer be part of the minutes of this meeting?
No, it won't, because I don't have a written report. All I have is an oral report from her and some bullet points. When I get a final report, I will gladly share it with every single trustee.
Well, I would make a motion that we haven't completed this discussion until we have an answer to those questions.
You're dragging things out, Richard.
That's
Now
correct.
you're going to go beyond the date.
No, I don't think so. We haven't resolved this complaint.
The complaint has to
Not
be
with you,
addressed.
but with the rest of us, we're fine with it. So you can vote against it if you want. That's your right.
Do we need a motion?
Yes, we do, but I'm trying to figure out what it's to be. There
Well,
need two
was there a-
motions. You need
was
two
there a
motions,
remedy?
actually. One for the first, we have two issues here. The first one, the first complaint needs a motion. And I would move that that was a simple one.
Yes.
And I think I would move that the president join with the city solicitor in responding to that complaint, that we were not in violation of the open meeting law.
I second.
Okay, can we do a roll call on that, please?
That's just for the first one. The Goldstein is it?
I can do the roll call
Oh,
for the
thank you,
first
Jen.
motion. Jan,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Catherine, yes. Loretta,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Richard,
No,
Joanne,
No.
Mary,
Yes,
Judy.
Yes.
Okay. Did I get everyone?
How did you vote?
Oh, I voted yes.
Okay.
Thanks, Catherine.
Now, the second motion has to do with if we dispose of this second issue. Richard is saying that we know he wants to carry it over to wait to hear further. However, we are obligated within 10 days, Madam Chairman, to
14.
respond to the complainant.
Yeah.
What was the date of the complaint?
It was dated December 29th, and today's the last day. I checked it. Today's the last day.
The last business day?
Well,
Yes.
for this, and the written response will be done tomorrow.
Now, is it your intent that the written response will be done by who?
I haven't figured that out yet. Our attorney said she would be happy to do it, and I told her I would also check with the city solicitor to see whose preference it was. And both, I will check with Ellen. I don't know how she feels about it. If she would prefer to have our attorney do it, that's not a problem.
do we have the name of your attorney?
Can you have the name? No, not with this many people on the phone. I'd prefer, in the audience, I'd prefer to do that in a private conversation with you and Joanne.
The reason
Well,
there's so many
this-
people on is because it's a public meeting.
But the attorney is representing the corporation, not the trustees. Is that
That's
correct?
correct.
Yes.
That's correct.
So therefore, the name of the trustees would be available at a meeting of the corporation, which, according to our belief right now, is not open to the public. Is that also correct?
That's true, Bill, but the attorney hasn't opined on that yet.
Okay. We will have a meeting of the corporation within the next week or two?
Well, that's what I'm waiting on. That's what I'm holding off on, is for her to give us an opinion as to whether or not we are a
And
separate.
at that time, there'll be a formal meeting of the corporation, and all nine members will be invited. And
Absolutely.
unfortunately, it'll have to be on Zoom, I guess. But that meeting will be held soon as you have the results.
As soon as I have a result. There also may be an executive session for that meeting as well. We may call an executive session if we want to discuss issues regarding an attorney we have retained. It will not be open to the public.
Well, you're right. It's up to, if the decision of the attorney is that we are a private corporation, separate and distinct from the trustees, then it's up to the corporation to decide whether or not their meetings will be open and closed. Would that be
Correct.
correct to say?
That's correct, but
So we have a lot to discuss at the next corporation meeting. Would that be correct?
yes, we're waiting for
But
her
we-
to opine. And
But we want to get rid of this number 2. We have to. So I would move that the president meet with our attorney and the city attorney and respond to the name of the numbers 2 complainant.
Bill, may I
Yeah.
speak to that?
Yes. Well, no,
I'd
that's.
like to
that's-
second the
yeah.
motion first.
So as far as meet with them to resolve it, in my opinion, this is not resolved until we get that report from the attorney.
What isn't resolved? I'm just looking for clarification.
Because if the report for the attorney is not satisfactory to the Attorney General's office, then it's not complete. But it
In
should be
regards to the second OML complaint?
correct.
Okay,
I
how?
don't-
I want to put it in the notes.
Mary?
I don't understand that because in
No, I
general,
don't either.
when we respond, we do our response, which then goes to the Attorney General. At which
Exactly.
point, then we find out if it's acceptable to the attorney.
Exactly. If the motion carries, I will ask one of the attorneys to respond to what the trustees have voted. That's how it'll go down.
Okay.
Do we have a
I just
second?
need a note. I need a note to put it in the notes. That's why I'm clarifying.
Judy, did you second that motion?
I did.
Yeah, she did.
Thank you, Judy. Okay, so is there any more discussion before we have a roll call? Hearing none? Trustee Callahan. Oh, I'm sorry, Catherine, you were gonna do it.
No, you can if you want. Go ahead.
Trustee Callahan,
Yes.
trustee Hines,
Yes,
trustee Kelly,
Yes.
trustee Mahoney,
No,
trustee McNamee,
No.
trustee Shuck,
Yes.
trustee Sights,
Yes.
trustee Tiefel,
Yes.
trustee Rabbit. Yes. Motion carries 7-2.
A point of order, Madam Chairman. Will you forward the responses these two responses, will you forward a copy to each member of the board after they're sent? So the next discussion we have something in front of us to actually talk about.
What do you want me to forward, Bill? A copy of what?
A copy of the
Response.
responses that are being given. We haven't done, in the past, we've had the city solicitor respond, but we haven't always gotten a copy of that response. I think
Okay.
we need a copy of this one so that as our discussion continues, at least we have something in front of us to speak to.
No problem at all. I'll be happy to do that. And as soon as I will email all of you tomorrow, as soon as I know which attorney will be responding. I will do my best to get a hold of both of them tomorrow via email, and then I will notify all of you who's going to respond to that, and I will make sure we all get a copy of it. So that's it for the agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to
Thank you.
adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call. Trustee Callahan,
Yes.
trustee Hines,
yes.
trustee Kelly,
Yes.
trustee Mahoney.
I agree to end the meeting, but I would ask that in future, when things like this are going to be decided, that all the trustees be present at an open meeting. That's all.
Trustee McNamee,
Yes.
trustee Shuck,
Yes.
trustee Sights,
Yes.
trustee Tiefel,
Yes.
trustee Rabbit. Yes. Thank you, everyone. That's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you.